now starting the technical session 3, Connecting the Dots. The session will be chaired by Dr. A.K. Ray, former General Manager Quality, SAIL. The speakers in this session are Mr. Shourabha Dotto, President, Infrastructure, Exide Industries, Mr. Prashant Basu, Head, Sales and Marketing, Logistics Infrastructure, Bamanlari and Company, and Mr. Shattoki Nath, CAO, Systems and Claims Officer, Eastern Railway. I request Dr. A.K. Ray, Mr. Shourabha Dotto, Mr. Prashant Basu, and Mr. Shattoki Nath to take their seats on the dais. May I now take the opportunity to introduce the session chair of this session, Dr. A.K. Ray. Dr. A.K. Ray graduated with honors in chemical engineering from Jadavpur University. He did his master's in chemical engineering from IIT Kanpur and PhD in metallurgical engineering from IIT Kharagpur. After a brief stint in ISCO, Banpur, and Indian Oil, he joined in R&D Center of SAIL at Ranchi, where he was instrumental in establishing different laboratories, computational facilities, and pilot plants. He steered a number of R&D projects in process improvement and product development related to iron and steel. He assumed charge of General Manager Quality at Durgapur Steel Plant, SAIL, in 2008. Under his leadership, DSP has received several awards on quality, including prestigious Golden Peacock Award on Quality 2010 of Institution of Directors. Dr. Ray has more than 130 research publications and a number of patents to his credit. After superannuating from SAIL in 2012, Dr. Ray is advising a number of companies. He is presently associated with Lettler India Private Limited and Mitra SK Private Limited. With these words, I request Mr. SK Ray to start the session.
Well, good afternoon. We are starting this session 3, and this is the last of the technical sessions. And this session has been named as Connecting the Dots. We have 3 brilliant speakers in this session. Mr. Shourabha Datta, who is the President, Infrastructure of Exide Industries Limited. Mr. Prashant Basu, who is the Head of Sales and Marketing Logistics Infrastructure, Bamanlari and Company. And Mr. Shattoki Nath, CAO and Systems in Chief Claims Officer in Eastern Railway. I'll first request Mr. Shourabha Datta to talk on the challenges on international logistics and Exide perspective. Mr. Datta is President, Infrastructure 2 of Institutional at Exide Industries. Mr. Datta, please.
Thank you, Mr. Ray, and a very good afternoon to all of you. I will speak on international logistics, a perspective of what we did in this tumultuous 4 years which had happened. So I will first start sorry about that.
I would request the speakers to limit the presentations up to 15 minutes. And
yeah. So I'll start with a quote of a black swan event. So what is a black swan event? It was coined by Nicholas Taleb, a disproportionate role of high profile, hard to predict, and rare events that are beyond the realm of normal expectations in history, science, finance, and technology. So Nicholas Taleb said that the non-computability of the probability of consequential rare events using scientific methods. Simplifying this, the event is a surprise to the observer, the event has a major effect, and after the first recorded instance of the event, it is rationalized by hindsight as it could have been expected. That is, the relevant data were available but unaccounted for in risk mitigation programs. I guess everyone would know what I am speaking about. It is COVID, but what Nicholas Taleb said, that COVID-19 pandemic was not a black swan. It was expected with great certainty that a global pandemic would eventually take place. So instead, it is considered as a white swan event, which had a major effect, but it is compatible with statistical properties. Now, whether it is black swan or white swan, we had 3 such major events which changed international logistics completely in the last 4 years. So I have computed this with the freight rates to Germany. You know, Germany is our biggest market, and we export a lot of containers from our factory at Haldia. And I have plotted the freight rates of Germany from March 20, just before the COVID or when the COVID lockdown started, to March 24 this year. And as you can see that once the unlock happened, the rates went up, up, and up. There were various factors for these rates going up. Okay, from $1,600, the figures are slightly, I have changed the figures, but these figures are available in the internet. These are more or less the true figures. So the March, it was $1,600. It doubled in 1 year, in less than 1 year. And then went up to $9,600 in March 22. So exporters were completely left in the lurch. And this happened, continuously because of once the lockdown opened, there was a huge demand everywhere. There was also a period, if you all remember, that India's trade with China fell down. And as a result, containers coming to India or ships coming to India with containers also fell down. So that added to the problem, the whole global demand, port congestion, etc., and it peaked during the Ukraine war, or rather after the Ukraine war. So there was no solution in sight. And subsequently it came down, and again there was a new event, which was the Red Sea crisis. So again the freight rates have started going up from this calendar year, specifically from March 24, and we are again seeing a similar situation as what has happened. So I will come back to these figures and try to explain, these challenges, how we have overcome these challenges. How in Exide we took care of these challenges and ensured that business continues to happen. But before that, I will tell you what was the pre-COVID situation. It is covered, so I will not repeat what has not been covered. Operational efficiency, the ship schedules were predictable. So when I came into international marketing from domestic 8 years back, it was like Spain was 34 days from Haldia, plus minus 10%. So that means 99% of your shipment reached within 31 to 37 days. So you had a very predictable schedule. The customers were happy. The exporters were happy. There was a stable demand. There was not much of trade imbalances. Containers could be obtained when you require it. The cost structure was, freight rates was lower because of a competitive market and a higher shipping capacity. The fuel prices were relatively stable, resulting in the lower cost structure. Technological adaptation was not there to a large extent. The shipping companies, the logistic companies, they relied more on traditional processes and adoption to technology was low. There was not much of real-time tracking of the shipment. And again, it was not required because once we send the material ship it from our Haldia port, we know that it would reach the intended destination within the specified time. So limited visibility, we did not need tracking. There were predictable regulations, regulatory environments were more or less predictable, and labor availability was stable without fewer disruptions. What happened after COVID? As I said, disruptions and delays everywhere. Port Colombo, the port which is in our part of the world, was completely congested. And containers were piling up there. Containers were piling up in US because the turnaround time was not there. And as a result, this was affecting global chains. I mean, we didn't have a clue as to when we will get a container. And our partners mostly in Europe, there were already a huge demand revival in Europe. And as a result, partners were also getting fidgety as to when they will get the materials. Freight rates surged. I have shown only Germany. I will show subsequent countries where we mainly export to. There were volatile fuel prices. Now the technological adaptation, the accelerated digitalization, it happened very quickly. And there was enhanced visibility. So we could see where the shipment was, when it is going to reach Colombo, when it is going to be transshipped from Colombo, when it is going to reach Genoa. So everything was visible, and it was required because, I give the example of Spain. Spain from 34 days had gone up to 65 to 70 days. So we needed visibility of our consignments, and the logistics companies had already done a lot of digitalization, and this was visible across the spectrum. The regulations evolved. The labor shortages was a major thing which affected us again in Colombo, where the port was down to 10% work level at one point of time. Only 10% of the workforce could attend the port because of most of them were down with COVID. And health protocols, of course, there was enhanced health protocols, which also added to the delays. Okay, so this was what was there and what was the post-COVID situation. Situation came after the Ukraine war. The situation came to much better than what it was. But again, we see a rise. So now I will give you an example of our main routes. What has been the rates as I showed in Germany, and what have we done to ensure that we do not lose business, rather gain business, and these lessons which we have learned, how do we carry it forward? So these are the spot rates which happened. And you can see that Germany was our biggest market, went up. Australia, it is our second biggest market. Again, it went up to $11,000 from $785. South Africa, where we export a lot of containers, went up to $14,000. In fact, 2 months, there was no business in South Africa. There were no containers which came in because this reached a non-viable situation. It was similar in Italy, which is a big market of ours, and UK, which is again a big market of ours. As you can see from all the graphs, the freight rates have started rising again. So we are back into a similar situation as what it was, not to the extent what it was before COVID, or before the Ukraine war, but it is a situation which is just after COVID. Now, a freight cost as a percentage of consignment value. Now, when companies calculate their margins, a freight cost is considered as an ocean freight, 3 to 5% of your consignment value. It went up to 23%, more than 20% of the consignment value. And there's no margin left, and people can't do business at a loss. So this was the situation which we were tackling, that freight cost had reached 1/5 of the consignment value in all the territories. So what did we do? What were the points which we implemented? So we started negotiating long-term contracts with the liners directly. We cut the CHs, we used the CHs, but we went to the liners directly. We leveraged the quantity of containers which we have, and we got a long-term contract for most of our markets, and we saved tens of crores in that. The second is we explored alternative transport modes like rail movement. When containers are not coming in Haldia, so we tied up with Concord and we sent container in rails from Haldia yard to JNPT, and from JNPT onward into ocean containers and then onward to the destination. This reduced our cost substantially. We increased inventory levels at our factory so that we can turn around. We did not wait for orders from our partners. We kept inventory so that we can turn around faster. The turning around time, the production time was reduced so that at least we can save on 30 days of production time. We re-evaluated routes. We even went to the west. We went to Port Klang, and from Port Klang it went back to Germany. So it was a constant revaluation of routes which was done by the team along with the shipping companies and the CHA, and we obtained freight surcharge from our customers. It was very difficult. To a large extent we were successful, and we managed this freight surcharge with our relationship with certain markets where Australia or South Africa, there is no manufacturer within that country. We could do it more easily than the others, but we managed the freight surcharge. So these were the things which we did to, for the challenges of the high freight, high transit time, and now these lessons are with us, and these are being implemented once again in the Red Sea crisis. Again, in the Red Sea crisis, the original freight increase was because the ships were moving throughout the African coast from the Cape of Good Hope. But now the Suez Canal has reopened, but still the freight rates are not coming down. So our anticipation is that the freight rates will go up again in the future because the demand is considerably high, and we are utilizing all our learnings which we had in the last 3 years to tide over this crisis again. So this is what I wanted to present. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Datta, for the excellent presentation. Basically, Mr. Datta talked about on the Exide initiatives on logistics in post-COVID and Ukraine war situations. It's a difficult situation we're all going through, and the freight rate also is increasing. Thank you, Mr. Datta, for the nice presentation. Our next presentation will be by Mr. Prashant Basu, who will be talking on SCM 5.0, connecting the dots in both logistics and distribution. Mr. Basu has done his bachelor's degree in commerce, postgraduate in marketing management. He is a certified internal ISO auditor. He has done many management courses from different management institutes like IIM Lucknow, Bangalore, and Ahmedabad. He has over 29 years operations management experience in business development and supply chain management. Mr. Basu is with Bamalori and Company. Mr. Basu, please.
उधर से ওখান থেকে ও করে নেবে ওটাকে ওখানে দিয়ে দিই Respected gentlemen on the dais and off the dais. I am Prashant Basu from Bangla. I would like to take on to the supply chain 5.0, and I would like to have an insight also with examples like how we are using it today and the industry is we are getting used to it. Well, supply chain management 5 represents a transformative evolution in the way supply chains are managed. It helps in decision making, optimize process, and improve overall efficiency. These tools enable real-time data analysis and predictive insights, allowing organizations to respond swiftly to ever-challenging market conditions and customer demands. Sustainability, as we business increasing, prioritize environmentally friendly practices. This includes reducing carbon, optimize resource usage, and using ethical sourcing throughout supply chain, delivering values through personalized services and enhanced communication. This allows stakeholders to track goods and information seamlessly from production to delivery, thereby improving accountability and reducing risk. Ultimately, Supply Chain 5 aims to create smarter, more responsive, and sustainable supply chain that not only meets complexities in modern market, but also drives innovation and growth, ensuring business retain competitive in a ever-evolving landscape. Well, in fact, it is always beneficial to speak at the last because most of the point when you speak, when you come, it is already covered. And Professor Ray is here, he has touched upon the major points, but still I will try to put in some more with examples so that it becomes easy for us to understand also. Well, advanced analytics and AI. Advanced analytics refers to the use of sophisticated techniques to analyze complex data sets that drive strategic decision making. Artificial intelligence involves and develop of algorithms and systems to enable machines to perform tasks that typically requires human intelligence, such as learning, reasoning, and problem solving. Amazon is a prime example and how advanced analytics and AI are revolutionizing logistics and distribution in the supply chain industry. AI-driven predictive demand forecasting to anticipate customer need by analyzing buying pattern, search behavior, and external factors, enabling more efficient inventory control. AI also plays a crucial role in routing optimization, factoring the real-time data like traffic, weather, and streamlining delivery routes, reducing both cost and delivery time. Amazon leverages predictive maintenance by using AI to monitor the condition of the transportation fleet, ensuring timely repair of their own fleets. Well, Internet of Things. Network of interconnected devices that connects and exchange data over the internet. Devices, smart home appliances to industrial sensors collect and share data to improve efficiency, monitoring, and decision making. A leading example of the Internet of Things in logistics and distribution is seen in DHL logistics supply chain. They monitor shipments on real time, provide live tracking of goods from warehouse to the destination. Sensor embedded in packaging for delivery track location, temperature, humidity, and other critical factors ensure optimal condition of sensitive goods like pharmaceuticals and perishable items. IoT devices also enhance fleet management, optimize, reduce, and operational cost. By integrating IoT across other logistics network, DHL ensures greater transparency, faster delivery, and decision making. In fact, Bangla has also used the RFID facility for transporting of its import containers from Haldia to Kolkata. What happened, like we are importing containers from Haldia port to Kolkata's container freight station, And each and every container has been put with RFID seal, RFID tracking, so that we can track the real time where the train is lying and how it is coming. Blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger system, records transactions across multiple computers. It enhances transparency and trust by allowing participants to verify and validate transactions. In logistics and distribution, as sir was also telling about the shipping lines right now, Merckx is using a collaboration with IBM, and they're using a blockchain-based platform to enhance global supply chain transparency known as TradeLens. TradeLens securely records and shares shipping data among various stakeholders, including manufacturers, customs authority, and carrier, ensuring real-time visibility of the movement of goods. By using blockchain and platform, reduces documentation, accelerate custom clearance, and improve accuracy and tracking. Global Shipping Business Network, Cargo Smart, Everledger, ShipChain are few of the blockchain applications which is widely being used in the industry today. Well, next is robotics and automation. Robotics refers to the design and use of robots to perform tasks. Walmart provides a strong example of how robotics and automations are transforming logistics and distribution in the supply chain industry. In its distribution centers, Walmart uses autonomous mobile robots to streamline the warehouse operation that is already being projected. These robots are responsible for sorting, retrieving, and transporting of goods, significantly reducing the time it takes place for order picking inside the warehouse. Manage inventory level, where robotic systems can continuously monitor stock and trigger automatic replenishment when the stocks are very low. Walmart uses an automated guided vehicle, what we call AGVs, improve efficiency in transporting products between different areas in its warehouse, reducing human interventions. Now we come to cloud computing. Cloud computing is a delivery of computing services such as storage, process, and software over the internet, allowing users to access resources on demand without need of physical infrastructure. Collaboration tools are software applications that facilitate communication teamwork among individuals and groups, enabling real-time sharing information and coordination across various locations. FedEx utilizes cloud-based platform to centralize their operations. Through its global operations, embedded real-time communication, coordination across its vast network. FedEx integrates collaboration tool that enables different teams across location to work together in real time, improving decision making and improve time. Well, today FedEx is using in-house developed software that is called FedEx Surround. Customer-centric approach. The customer-centric approach prioritizes understanding and addresses the need and preferences and feedback of customers at every stage of business process. In fact, UPS is an example which has customer-centric approach in logistics and distribution by focusing on personalized service and tailor-made situations through My Choice platform. They're using a software called My Choice platform. They track packages in real time, reschedule deliveries, and choose specific delivery windows. Some people will be asking for a separate time slot for the delivery at their home. So they incorporate that also. Or alternative location, in case they are changing the address also, that can also be done. UPS uses advanced analytics to anticipate customer needs and optimize delivery. Sustainability, as we are talking since morning, these initiatives are strategies and action implemented by organizations to promote environmental stewardship, social responsibility, and economic viability. These initiatives aims to reduce resource consumption, minimize waste, and enhance the overall impact of operations on planet and society. Unilever is using this facility. In fact, they are notable, they are example of this sustainability practices. They are reducing carbon footprints. How they are doing it? By implementing eco-friendly practices in logistics operation, strategies that include optimized transportation routes, minimize fuel consumption, utilize energy-efficient vehicles, and increasing the use of renewable energy in its distribution centers. Focusing on reduced packaging waste by using lighter material to engage recycling. The company has also set ambitious goal to achieve net zero emission by 2039. Yeah, end-to-end visibility. The ability to track and monitor the entire supply chain process from the initial sourcing of material to the final delivery of the product. Insights allow business to optimize operations, improve decision making, and enhance responsiveness. ITC Limited exemplifies this by implementing advanced digital tool to enhance transparency across logistics operations. ITC can monitor the movement of goods from production to delivery in real time. Improve demand forecasting, addresses quick delay and adjust logistic strategies, ensure timely deliveries to retailer, end-to-end visibility, better communication and collaboration among suppliers, logistics partners, and customers, enhancing the overall efficiency. To my conclusion, supply chain 5.0 transcends mere technological advancement, fully integrated, transparent, and autonomous network by merging AI, blockchain, big data, and enables seamless operations to enhance efficiency and responsiveness, reduces waste and emission to build resilient supply chain. As we embrace supply chain 5.0, we are not just adapting to change, we are actively shaping for more sustainable and innovative future of the logistics industry. In fact, I would go a step ahead. More advanced technologies needs to be adapted to meet the requirement of Industry 5.0. These includes collaborative robots, that is called cobots today, multi-agent systems and technologies, digital ecosystem, holography, intelligent automation system, and machine cognition. Sustainable development will be the main aspects of supply chain management. There will be a greater emphasis on waste management, minimize carbon emission, and environment-friendly manufacturing processes. Before I end, I would like to put a statement. A well-oiled supply chain is like a symphony. Each part must harmonize to create a masterpiece of efficiency and value. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Basu, for the excellent presentation. Basically, Mr. Basu has talked about the different attributes and enablers and pillars of the supply chain in implementation of supply chain management 5.0 in logistics and distribution. Thank you, Mr. Basu. Our next and last presentation will be done by Mr. Shattoki Nath on resurgent railways. Mr. Nath is an alumnus of Jadavpur University and IIT Kanpur, and then he joined in Indian Civil Service and joined in Indian Railways Traffic Service in the year 92. He worked in various capacities in operations and commercial departments of Southeastern Railway, Metro Railways, and Eastern Railways. He held many important positions in Indian Railways, and he has an interest in history, and he has authored a book titled Nation or the Empire, the Indian Civilians at the Crossroads. He is also a keen soccer buff. Soccer buff. Yeah, Mr. Nath, please.
করে দিই স্লাইড সরতে চলে যাই যাচ্ছে Yeah, good evening. I am the last speaker from Railways. I think the organizers, this will not be the case when the organizers plan their journey. Railway will not be the last option for them. Yeah, Railway do provide a safe and comfortable journey. And you may have some complaint about your punctuality, but we are certainly improving on it. Resurgent railways. And before I speak, I am the last speaker with the audience thinning out and, mindfulness flagging off. But my task is a bit daunting because I have a senior colleague in the audience, Mr. A.K. Maitra, and much of what I am going to talk, I have learned from interaction with him. So, sir, please excuse me when I falter. Indian Railways is a British legacy. I say that when the British left, they bequeathed 3 institutions to India, which have become more popular in the independent India. First, of course, nobody will argue, the game of cricket. Second is English medium school. And third is Indian Railways. And as a matter of fact, when the British left, Indian Railways were quite developed, ahead of even China. And there was always a conflict between the nationalists and the British colonial rulers. The nationalists complained that the British are putting more money in development of railways, sacrificing development of canals or irrigation to serve, the British commercial interest. Surging demand after independence, the demand of passenger traffic surged, and even at the present moment, it has nearly exhausted the capacity. In some cases, it had outstripped the capacity. At the same time, since independence, the roadways have developed. It has taken away substantial freight traffic from us. But Indian Railways have identified the infrastructural requirement at the moment and focused on that capacity enhancement in the form of tracks, induction of rolling stock, locomotives, and we have a mission of reaching 3,000 million ton by the year 2030. At the moment, we are about 1,600. So nearly doubling the traffic in 7 years. There's certainly a big leap. The leap, Lord Hanuman took to reach Lanka. But that was with the divine blessings. This is, as an Indian will say, nothing can happen without divine blessing, but this is infrastructure-based, practicable, and well-planned big leap mission. Yeah, this is the company railways in the year 90 years back. They provided this guaranteed transit time freight movement. 5 days to Madras and 7 days to Madras and 5 days to Bombay. And the East India Railway provided 3 days, 72 hours to Delhi. This is a factual fact. This is a fact. This is a historical fact. But this I show as, my expression of my admiration for Her Majesty also. As said that I am also, my avocation is history. For the last 12 years, I am reading history of, administration of British India. And the more I read about the history of British India, the more I admire Her Majesty. And there is nothing wrong with that. The only problem is that you cannot share it in your home. Immediately 2 ladies will pounce on you. One is my daughter and one is my wife. So I found that this is a safer place where you can express that admiration. Now, what are the present concerns? We have the high density network and high utilization networks, which only 41% of our total network, but carries 81%. So you can make out how congested they are. The bottlenecks, so there are bottlenecks obvious. One example I have taken is Delhi-Howrah route, where the average detention to freight trains at junction points, Din Dayal Upadhyay 7.5 hours, Kanpur 7 hours, Gomo 6 hours, Prayagraj, Gaya, Dhanbad 2 hours. I don't know how our guards, in that brake van, they stay for such a long time. I hope there is no ghost, white or brown. But they complain of one guard complained me about, snake, in the brake van coiled in the ceiling. Next concern is a drop in our average speed of freight trains. Then again, thinning out our commodity basket. Now we are basically carrying only the bulks. The FMCG has left us, has moved to roadways. Many other traffics have moved away. And shrinking modal share. At the time of independence, we used to carry 85% of total freight traffic of the national traffic, which has come down to only 27-28%. Another serious concern is our high empty run ratio. That means the operational requirement. The loaded movement fetches revenue. The empty movement is operational requirement to reach the rake to the next loading point. And that is as high as 42%. These are the main stock. Boxen is, for bulk cargo. In that case, the empty run ratio is nearly touching 43%. BCN is a covered stock. For backed consignment, the empty run ratio is 48%. That is because of the distribution, production, and consumption distribution in our country. The minerals are mainly in the eastern India. That goes to the western India and comes back, the rakes comes back empty. In case of covered stock, finished goods, it is just the reverse. Now this is how the empty run ratio is calculated. The greens one are loaded movement. Greens one are loaded movement. You see that the first one, every green movement is followed by movement, which is an empty movement, which is an operational requirement. And as because the empty movement that powerhouse in Punjab, from there, the empty rake is coming to West Bokaro. The empty run ratio is nearly 60%. The next figure, you can see only one case where you have two green paths following one another. That is to DPCB is a port, and again from port to another steel plant. So as a railway man, I will always like all green, because trains will not stop. I don't like red signals. Trains will always, they're halting trains. But unfortunately, that is not the case. So we have such a high level of empty run ratio, which is a operational requirement. More so because our commodity basket is thinning out. We are only carrying few commodities. I told you about that our average speed has come down because of congestion in the high density networks. And a lot of infrastructural works are taken up. And then again, we are giving adequate time to the maintenance of assets. All these are impacting our average freight train speed, which has marginally come down. Now, how are we going to address these issues? Double line, new line gauge conversion, commissioning of dedicated freight network, third line and fourth line have been planned in all congested routes. Automatic signaling has been planned on high density network and high utilization network. Yard remodeling work, because yards are detention points. New Goti Shakti terminal with private players now have been allowed to develop their terminals partially in railway land. and upgradation and railway. There's a massive work taken in making the goods terminal more efficient, the handling to be more efficient, because we find that the terminal detention is quite high. So we want to, a substantial part of the detention takes place at the terminal. So we want to cut down through improvement, through upgradation of the railway goods terminals. This is the DFC. Two routes are already, one the eastern dedicated freight corridor up to Sholnagar, it is fully operational. The other one, western, it is operational except a small patch. And 3 more have been planned. One is from Kharagpur to Bejawada, another from north through, that is east to south, another is from north to south, Itarsi to Bejawada, and one from east to west. All 3 now DPRs have been prepared and in the approval stage, and the estimated expenditure is 2 lakh crore. The 2 which have been installed, commissioned, that expenditure was 2,800 kilometer at a cost of 1 lakh crore. The next 3, it is about 4,300 kilometer with an estimated capital expenditure of 2 lakh crore. And permanent speed restriction, that also affect our average speed. So that issues are also being addressed. 25 axle load train. So the payload of each train will increase. That is being proliferated. Now we are at the level of about 6,500 kilometers of 25-ton axle load route. And the problem there is that the loaded speed is restricted to 45 kmph. So with improvement of tracks, we are trying to improve that speed to 100 kilometers, but they are also, the problem is some bridges are old and weak. So there may be those restrictions will continue, but with improved rail, the speed we are attempting to improve the speed. Then another plan is to construct the feeder routes to the DFC, the 2 operational and the 3 planned, connectivity to ports, and connectivity to mines, especially in the iron ore mines in Odisha. So you want to take the railway to through the nearest point to the mines. Same with the coal. And when the train density increases, we feel that the present traction system of 25 kV will not be sufficient. So there's a plan to, there's a project which is already started to convert it into 2 into 25 kV, so that the problem of return current is eliminated. In 2022, we had 1.3 lakh kilometer of track, 3.2 lakh wagons, and about 13,000 wagons. And see the last 3 years and the last 2 years and this year's project, this year's target. More than 5,000 kilometers have been commissioned each year. Wagon induction has gone up to the level of 35,000, and locomotive, this year's target is 1,500. And the capital expenditure, last year it was 2.4 lakh crore, this year target is 2.5 lakh crore. Huge capital investment to enhance the capacity. I said that this leap is not going to be the human leap. This is going to be infrastructure-based, planned. Now this is the freight traffic trained. Now we are near about 1590, near 1600 kilometers. But our commodity basket, you can say, this is our commodity basket. Bulk is coal, and you can see only 10 or 11 commodities. All others are gone away from our left railways, moved away. And last 10 years, our freight growth is around 4%. And to reach from 1,600 to 3,000 in 7 years, the growth rate required is 10%. So quite formidable, But then again, if we create the infrastructure, and then we have to create some demand also. We have to bring back some cargo which has gone away from rail. Then the 3,000 mission will be possible. Modal share, this is addressed here. See the balance, last one, balance other goods, which is about 40% of the total national traffic. And here, railway share is only 4%, nothing. Everything is moving by road and other ways. That we are planning to take to 18 or 22%. Others is another is container, where our share is also very, very, very less, 24%. That also we are trying to improve to double through some policy intervention and infrastructure development. Reduction in cost in rail transport. The freight may not be reduced immediately, but ancillary charges like damage, wharfage, stabling charges, those will automatically come down when we allow warehousing in the railway land near the goods sheds, providing end-to-end service, FMCG cargo, and what I started with, that the guaranteed transit time the company railways provided, we are planning to introduce, we have tried earlier also, but when the capacity goes up, this is a plan to introduce container traffic with guaranteed transit time. Of course, that will be a very premium service. Storage, advanced stacking of containers in railway land, and another representation that we receive from container companies, that free movement of container up to 350 or 500 kilometers. Nowadays, we charge them empty haulage charge. So we have that. Railways, resilient and resurgent. Focus, I have shown you 2.4 lakhs spent last year, 2.5 lakhs is the target this year. High capital outlay. DFC, the two DFC which are operational now, 325 trains are running against a target of 480 trains. 200 trains are running in the eastern DFC, all coal rakes feeding to the North India, and 125 rakes on the western. That is mainly linking to the ports. Rationalization of land policy has been done. It has become quite liberal, flexible for freight-related activities. Now the private, the investors, the prospective investors, they can plan their terminals in the partially in the railway land. And I said that the terminal detention at the railway goods shed is still a problem for us. That we are trying to through a scheme of operator-based goods shed management. That the operator will be given contract for handling. He may put some equipment, mechanized handling. And the response, kind of a response we are getting, it's not only the railway is planning, we are getting the response also from the private participants. The liberalized special freight train operators, already 200 approvals have been given. Means approvals for 200 rakes have been given. These are all high capacity rakes. I will show you in the next slide. Immensely successful general purpose investment scheme. General purpose investment scheme, earlier the wagon investment scheme was for your own consumption. Whosoever had a plant, he procured a rake for their own consumption. But this general purpose is a third party also. That the logistic provider also can buy the rake, can own the rake, and then they can provide the third party logistic service. Already 311 rakes are operational, and another 150 rakes we are expecting. That means approvals have been given for 150 rakes. And this scheme has been so successful that last year we had to put a moratorium on that. Now this scheme is temporarily suspended. It has been hugely successful. RO service in RoRo service in Western DFC, because in that area the height is higher, 7.1 meter compared to 5.1 meter in the Eastern DFC. Increasing trend, this is a very, very encouraging trend that automobiles are now moving by railways. Earlier, which was almost negligible. And these special freight train operators I talked about, the new type of wagons are coming, BFNB. This is like BFNS, which are used with, B means grouped. There are 5 groups, specially suitable for steel coil loading, where the platform level and the eye level of the coils are at the same. So it can be loaded from sideways also. And the payload will be 4,000 tons instead of big jump from 50% jump from the present 2,750 tons. ACTOR is for automobile vehicles, which will be able to double-decker, which will be able to carry 264 cars from the existing rake of 135, nearly doubled. BTFC, because the cement plants are also now planning to move cement as bulk. So BTFC wagons are for bulk cement movement, fly ash movement, and alumina. This is a hopper type with loading from the top and unloading by gravity. Induction of high-powered, high-speed locomotives to 12,000 HP, 9,000 HP. You know, they are, we call God omnipotent. These are nearly omnipotent. Railways in transition. Bhutam bhavata bhavishyat. We had a glorious past. We have a sunny future, but slightly struggling with bhavat, the present. The Upanishad said, and these are the, these 3 calls are relative, but I believe that we will even cross the relative time and go to the absolute, Trikala Tattam. Thank you. I am a railway man, and the Hindu doctrine believes in, birth circle and rebirth. So I wish if I am reborn, I born as an Indian, and I become a railway man. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Nath, for the excellent presentation. Mr. Nath has told about the recent initiatives that Indian Railways have taken in terms of freight movement or reduction of time in freight movement. Railways have taken a massive measures or massive infrastructural development in terms of conversion from meter gauge to broad gauge line, as well as dedicated corridor. In fact, I was related to steel industry, and I know we had to spend sleepless nights when some rakes have been detained in some junctions or something like that, and we are depleting our stocks. So especially it happens for coal and iron ore. So we had to spend sleepless night about 10, 15 years back. But I now understand from my colleagues that now things have improved a lot. And I'm sure that with the recent initiatives have been taken by the Indian Railways, that things will move further, will improve further. Thank you, Mr. Nath, for your excellent presentation. Now, we can take a couple of questions from the audience to all the speakers, if there is any. Yeah, please. You can introduce yourself.
Thank you. I know that time is running short, so I'll be making very brief questions for Mr. Nath. Since I'm a follower of, first of all, I'm Partha Bhattacharya. I am Jadavpur Mechanical, also MBA from IBM. And I worked 40 years in CESC. Now, my question for Mr. Nath, I have 2 questions. Since I'm a follower of railways, I follow railways like anything. So, and your presentation was very interesting to me. 2 questions. Indian Railways have the world's one of the most powerful locomotives of the world, WAC 12B. Are we thinking of more? Like, can we have WAC 14 in future or something? This is number 1. Number 2, we had seen some very long rakes like Sheshnag and Basuki. So, can we think of some more of like this in future?
Actually, let us first, this WAG 12, that is 12,000 horsepowers. let us learn from the experience, because the experience is not yet very successful. It was intended to haul 4700 with 1 in 60 grade with a single loco. So unless that we learn from that experience, I don't think it will be prudent to plan for again some more advancement. And running long rakes, yes, we are planning the new lines which are coming up. They are coming up with long loops. The present the stations, no loop can accommodate these two rakes together. There is no line though adequately long. But the new lines are planned with a long loops. So with that, this number of long hauls will always go up.
Thank you, sir.
I don't get. Would you please? Yes, certainly this GPWIS is a PPP partnership. The private parties are owning the rake. The rake remains with them. It is not merged in the Indian Railway wagon pool. Even after the money that you have invested, that you are getting rebate through freight. Even when that is repaid, the rake will remain with you. Actually, we are huge capital expenditure.
I have a small question.
Please.
What?
Madam, you have something to say.
Moratorium because, the rakes are concentrated in eastern sectors. Everyone wants to operate in the eastern sectors. And this is getting congested. And the maintenance depot, problem is with maintenance depot. Only few maintenance depot, they are all overcrowded. Your rakes are going there and waiting for maintenance.
Yeah, we can take one last question.
In fact, what her question was, my question is in the same line, in a different way. These 200 private rakes, it's a new phenomenon. When I had the relationship with railway, these 200 was not there. So I am apprehending that these 200 rakes in the system, in high density network, mostly from eastern to northern, eastern to, so these 200, are they getting some special kind of priority?
No, there is no guarantee on transit time. There is no guarantee on
So they are not going to get it, that means it's not that.
These are these are not general purpose. These are special type carrying steel or
Coal.
automobiles and like that.
So,
these are not general purpose wagons.
so it is not affecting your turnaround.
The GPWIs are impacting our turnaround, but not these special rakes.
That is the exact, I mean, that was the apprehension. Ultimately,
But
it is your revenue.
But the kind of infrastructure we are going to now, the traffic capacity we are trying to enhance, then in few years' time, this will not be a problem. It will be reverse. We have to create demand then.
Okay. Thank you, all the presenters, for the excellent presentation. Now we close this session and hand over the mic to the organizers.
Thank you very much, Dr. A.K. Ray, for nicely conducting the session, and heartfelt thanks to all the speakers of the session for your insightful deliberation. With this, now I request Mr. Abhijit Mitra to present memento to Dr. A.K. Ray, Mr. Shourabh Datta, Mr. Prashant Basu, and Mr. Sattoki Nath. I also request Mrs. Mitu Singh Rai to assist Mr. Abhijit Mitra. Dr. A.K. Ray. Mr. Shourabh Datta. Mr. Prashant Basu. Mr. Shatyakinath. With this, we move on to the valedictory session. For hosting the session, I request my colleague, Dr. Monideepa Chatterjee, to take over the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, just 2-3 minutes more. We're coming to the end of the session. We will be starting the valedictory session. The session will be conducted by Professor Ashit Kumar Mitra, the Honorable General Secretary of the National Council of Education, Bengal. So I will request Professor Ashit Kumar Mitra to take the dais. Professor Ashit Kumar Mitra, an alumnus of Jadavpur University and IIT Kharagpur, and he was the past president of Indian Institute of Chemical Engineers, past president of the National Council of Education Bengal and JU Alumni Association. Dr. Mitra is currently the Honorable General Secretary of the National Council of Education Bengal. Now over to Professor Ashit Kumar Mitra.
Good afternoon. I'll not take more than 10 minutes, okay? Because I already become tired by now. We had a very wonderful session. Thanks to Vijit, Ashim, and their team. They have done wonderful because I feel they have selected very, I would say, excellent speakers, and the deliberations were excellent. To me, I felt that, well, the honesty, the integrity, and character, the three things are much required to adopt this new 5.0. Because anything we do, if there is no integrity, no honesty, no character, nothing will build up. You see, when you talk about zero discharge in industry, total recycle in industry, no pollution, we have to abide by those rules. We don't do that. You see, when you talk about road transport, congestion, everything, when we were young people walking to our walking place, it took 15 to 20 minutes to go from home. Now we are taking more than an hour because of traffic jam. Today, a lot of people are stuck on the road because of traffic jam. We are experiencing all these things because of the technology advancement. Technology advancing for what purpose? The purpose is better human life. But are you having good life? We have a lot of appliances, a lot of technology, a lot of computer, mobile phone, everything. But are you happy? Not that much. Because I feel that there are a lot of things happening nowadays which are not there earlier. Even if you go to purchase a drug, you do not know whether it is spurious, adulterated, or is correct drug. When I purchase a medicine, whether it is 500 milligram, whether 500 milligram is there or 200 milligram is there, I do not know that. Even when I talk about Dunlop used to produce aero tires, no error, zero error aero tires. Now I do not know what is being manufactured. So that is, I say, honesty, integrity, and character. Before I speak, I will request the director of IBM, Institute of Business Management, to come over here and ask his views about today's deliberations. Director Mukherjee, Dr. Mukherjee, an expert in management education, and he is teaching marketing as well as the topic which is discussing today.
A very good afternoon, evening. Good evening to all of you. First of all, I should thank the organizers who have made this seminar a success. It was a very hard effort that they have done, which I have seen personally. I know the Obijit sir, who has taken a lot of interest along with team members. It is not Obijit sir himself. The team members, I thank all of them. The seminar on supply chain management 5.0, it is a paradigm shift in business conducted mainly of 3 sessions, technical sessions and 1 roundtable conference. We come from different backgrounds, some of commerce, some engineers, some technologists, some management experts, science, humanities, whatever be the case. And we do some professions. But all of us have gathered what I found, it is my personal observation of today's. Each one of us has gathered a knowledge of artificial intelligence, which we were not aware when we studied technology and management, blockchain, IoT, business analytics, predictive analysis, and its application in supply chain management in different fields, whether it is medicine, whether it is oil, whether it is LPG, whether it is battery manufacturing company, whether it is railways, and so on and so on. It has opened our analytical skills, which I feel, an in-depth knowledge in supply chain management and its impact in today's advanced stage. My only submission to the organizing committee that we should organize such seminars, not so quite often, it is not possible for them, to include some students also who will be the forerunners of the supply chain management. A professor is over there. He has taken a lot of time and he has given a good knowledge. So once again, I thank you for being over here. Be patient and giving their time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Mukherjee. Now I request, Mr. Ashim Maitro, for your comments, please.
Thank you for inviting me to speak once again. An unexpected development, and also an honor. It was an excellent day of deliberations, and I personally have learnt a lot about the technological part of supply chain management, artificial intelligence, and things like that. One thought I would like to leave you with. I have being a student of economics from the Delhi School of Economics, I have some interest in energy economics. Now I understand that artificial intelligence and the computer backup is highly energy intensive. It is very energy hungry. So the economics of the energy that you consume to create artificial intelligence and the benefit that you get in rupees and paisa, has anyone done a cost-benefit analysis? Food for thought for people who are in this line. I think they might like to delve into this matter, that what is it that you are gaining and how much are you spending to get what you are gaining? Because the crisis in the world today is the energy crisis. That is the biggest crisis other than the environmental crisis which is facing us. The biggest crisis that we are facing is the crisis of energy. There is not enough energy, and our demand for energy keeps ballooning every day. And you are using some technology which is benefiting a few companies in the world because it is a, intellectual property right. Everybody cannot use it unless you do it yourself or they sell it to you. So the cost-benefit analysis of using this technology is something which is worth looking at. I am not making any value judgment whether it is good or bad, but it is something, and I am also reminded of the book which we read long, long ago, Arthur C. Clarke, 2001 Space Odyssey, converted into a brilliant film by Stanley Kubrick, where the computer takes hold of the spaceship. The spaceship goes into space, and it is the computer is managing it, and suddenly the computer overpowers the human being and takes control of the spaceship. Are we heading into that future? Worth a thought. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Vijit, will you come, please? Thank you. No, I'm not tired, really, but I was thinking that how to really thank oneself. Well, if I have to thank myself, then it's become a problem. But I should thank all my honored guests, because without you, this program would have been useless. If you are present here, we enjoyed your presence. And we have learned a lot. And we have done some mistakes. Forget those mistakes. But what are the takeaways from this kind of program is that the idea was more to create a platform where industry and academia can interact. And I requested Professor Mukherjee, director of IBM, is that create that ecosystem which will help the IBM for tomorrow. So whoever has come from the industry, please leave your visiting card with us. I will pass it on to Professor Mukherjee, and they will get in touch with you and try to utilize your knowledge, your experience to develop the management school which he is heading at this moment of time. With that, thank you, sir. Thank you, Vijit. I think with this, we must end today's this program. Lastly, I must say that I enjoy personally very much this whole day program from morning to evening, and as well as I've gathered a lot of knowledge at this age of 85 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Ashit Kumar Mitra and Dr. Shoibal Kumar Mukhopadhyay for the valedictory speech. Now I will request Dr. Ashim Ray to present memento to Professor Ashit Kumar Mitra and Professor Shoibal Kumar Mukhopadhyay.
Incidentally, Ashim was my student.
Now I request Professor Alok Mukherjee, Secretary, Institute of Business Management, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening. I started in the beginning, so I was the opening player, and now I am the last man, last batsman, you can say. So my duty is very simple, to propose formal vote of thanks. But before that, I want to take 2 minutes from you to say, the whole day we have heard a lot about supply chain management from various aspects, from industry, from Indian Railway. But I was trying to think, rewinding my professional career in Jadavpur University, I had the opportunity to work as consultant to two pharmaceutical industry, Dr. Reddy's lab and Dr. Lupin Pharma. They were trying to develop some medicine for worldwide, especially for Indian market. Now, before 2000, the supply chain was so poor because the raw material used to come from China. Preparation in Lupin and Dr. Reddy's Hyderabad lab came to me for scientific analysis, for patenting, and going back, and then marketing to South Africa and United States. So the whole process used to take a long time. Now, around 2010, situation improved considerably due to supply chain management and all this logistic. And the thing is that with the advent of computer science, artificial intelligence, all these things, so I think at this age, lots of people I can see that one drug I will particularly say, that is the ramipril is used for the cardiovascular problems, and it is patented in the United States. In India, the Lupin Pharma was trying to develop analog of ramipril, and I was associated in that project. So then they online collected data in Lupin's Pune and then sent to me. I used to send them online the result, and finally they got the patent, and now it is marketed with a considerably cheaper price. So that's the artificial intelligence and the supply chain management. In few months' time, we were able to do that. Now, before ending, I just want to thank all the distinguished speakers of this seminar, the chairpersons, and particularly the participants for whom this seminar is a successful one. All the sponsors, all the supporters for this program, and the authorities of Biswa Bangla Convention Center for their excellent infrastructural support, and all our support staffs whole day who worked hard. And finally, last not the least, Mr. Avijit Kumar Mitra and his team for this organizing excellent seminar. And with this, I declare this seminar closed. Thank you all. Have tea outside.
With this, we come to the end of the seminar. Some refreshment has been arranged outside. Thank you. Now, there is an announcement. I request the members of the only organizing committee and the facilitator of the seminar to reassemble in this hall after 15 minutes.